Hey there, everyone. We're jumping here live on our Facebook and also YouTube channels, as we do have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings that have just been issued for our western counties. This includes Isabella and Clare, and this is for a pretty substantial storm, as we are seeing up to about 60-mile-per-hour winds with this severe thunderstorm warning, and also the potential of 1.5-inch hail, which is going to start to get towards that $half ping pong size. We've had some $half sized hail already reported with this storm. And so I'm going to show you the cell in particular that we are very much concerned with. And it's this area of pink and purple. That's going to be our hail core. And that's where the worst of the winds and also some of that more significant hail is a possibility. Most of the activity is still out of Isabella County, but it is going to continue, and I'll show you the overall, over the last hour or so, the overall movement. You can see it's in more of a north to northeasterly track. So if we're kind of drawing a line from where it is right now and where it is expected to go, for the rest of area, we are quiet. So if you are watching us from anywhere else in mid-Michigan besides the counties we mentioned, Clare and Isabella, we do not have any additional storms that we're worried about. It's just these two that are potentially going to bring some damaging winds and large hail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an idea of how quickly this storm is moving. It is off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. We are seeing, I'm going to make sure that I am coming through on Facebook. Go. For the rest of the area, so if you are watching us from anywhere else in mid-Michigan besides the counties we mentioned, Clare and Isabella, we do not have any additional. All right, so here is that storm in particular, moving off to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. So we're going to put a track on this. Let's go over the next 40. Let's get haze in there, just so we know for sure. So if you live in any of these communities, these cities, over towards Hoare at 8:53 p.m., we have Gilmore at 9:05, Surrey at 9:14, Hatton at 9:23, and Hayes at 9:35. This is that hail core, potentially seeing upwards of ping-pong-sized hailstones, so 1.5-inch sized hailstones, and also those 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds and wind gusts that could be coming out of this storm. Brandon, so Ashley and Ithaca, so I'll show you where that is right now. So Ithaca down here, everything is good there. So as of right now, these storms are off to your north. It's just Isabella and also Clare counties that this cell is moving. Again, you can see that hail core in the pink and purple. We'll get it up to about the next 50 minutes. So Chippewa Vista within the next 10 minutes, over towards Brinton by 9:04, Surrey 9:16, Hatton 9:25, and Hayes at about 9:37. That's the estimated time based on it moving off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. I'm going to save that area. What I'm going to also try and find is our hail core product. And we're going to get that up here into that area. And you can see right where I highlighted that storm where we had the pinks and the purples, you can see that we have a pretty significant hail core between Wheatland and Millbrook. So this is going to be crossing over M20, getting over towards Broomfield, Lake Isabella, Drew, Weedman as well, even up towards Titus and Chippewa Vista, Brinton, Gilmore in the path of this storm, as well as Surrey up here towards US 10, M115, US 127. That corridor needs to be on high alert for the potential of this hailstorm. You can see the rest of the area is quiet. We don't have really anything else. I'll show you that on our radar map. Just wanted to make sure that we got a good idea of where the worst of the hail is, and it was pretty significant out there on our radar. But you can see the rest of us are quiet as we put this into motion. These storms are moving more east to northeasterly, so eventually everyone will start to get in on some of the heavier shower and thunder shower activity. But the good news is it's mainly going to be a damaging wind threat and also some large hail. Tornadoes, less likely tonight just because we don't have the overall setup like we did last night for those spin-up tornadoes. But this storm we're definitely going to be watching very closely, hail core along with it. And again, if you live here in through Clare and Isabella counties, you are under that severe thunderstorm warning. Until 10:15 local time, 60-mile-per-hour winds, half-dollar size to even ping-pong-sized hail is a possibility with this storm. I'm also going to take a look at the velocity. We are seeing potentially some spin in this. It is far away from the radar, so we are seeing that inbound right here, outbound right here. So there is some rotation, something we'll keep an eye on. As of right now, it's very broad. It's not all that tight. When we start to talk about the potential of a tornado, you need those greens and reds to be a little bit closer together. This is just broad rotation, which is that mesocyclone in the storm, which allows for sometimes that stronger, more significant updraft and eventually those larger hailstones. So that's likely what is occurring here. Yes, we do have some rotation in this storm. You may have a lowering of the cloud deck, but overall, this storm broadly rotating, just giving us the potential of some of that strong wind and also possibly a large hailstone risk. It's upwards of 1 inch to 1.5 inches. That would be quarter to half-dollar and even potentially some ping-pong-sized hailstones. So once again, we just got a new scan. I'll put that scan out there. Here is that hail core. So that hail core now jumping into Isabella County, just to the north of Broomfield. So Lake Isabella, Hoare, Titus, in towards Drew, right around North Brinton Road, towards North Coldwater Road, West Airline Road, towards Weedman, as well as up here towards Chippewa Vista, Brinton, Gilmore, into Isabella County. You guys should be making sure you're getting inside in a stable shelter. And if you can pull your car in, hopefully it's already in the garage. Wouldn't recommend doing so now as we do have some dangerous lightning out there. But hopefully your car is in a shelter as well, so we're not talking about some damage from these larger hailstones. Also a wind component, 60-mile-per-hour winds are a possibility. We are going to watch this storm as it continues off to the northeast. I'll put another track on it. Moving off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So over the next 40 minutes, we've already talked about some of the cities close to it right now, but Brinton at 9:05, Surrey 9:17, Phelps at 9:21, and Hatton by 9:26. If you live in Mount Pleasant, you are not expecting this storm. So anybody around Mount Pleasant, you'll probably just have some rainfall from this. But because that overall movement is to the north and east, you can see that it's going to work itself well away from Mount Pleasant. And we are going to be talking about, here are some of the cities that are in the path of this storm currently. Amber, Saginaw is not under this severe thunderstorm warning, no risk currently. Courtney, St. John's is not going to get hit with this storm. Deborah, this is also not the storm that we're watching right around Grand Rapids, but I know that Grand Rapids, as we head further to the south, you're just kind of getting out of a storm. It's sub-severe, non-severe, no warning, and these storms will continue to move their way off to the northeast. So we're seeing that movement pretty much there. So Grand Rapids is going to start to clear out. But St. John's as well, Courtney, you are not expecting anything from this storm. Another look at that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this is only for Isabella and Clare counties. 60-mile-per-hour winds, potentially some half-dollar to ping-pong size hail. Jen, Roscommon. So if this storm holds together, I would say it would be there in about an hour to an hour and a half. As of right now, I'm expecting some weakening to it. So once it gets to Roscommon, I would think that it will be below severe limits. But I'm going to show you some of the cities that are included in this severe thunderstorm warning. So starting in northern Clare, Winterfield towards Frost, everyone here along US 127 and M61, Hayes included. Reading, Freeman, Hatton over towards Arthur. As we get further down, Surrey and Clare. And then as we jump into Isabella County, Isabella, Weedman, Gilmore, down through Broomfield. Anybody south of Broomfield is out of that storm risk now. Brandon, rain in Flint, probably not going to happen until closer to midnight is what it looks like currently. Just because the Flint area is going to have to wait for this. I'm going to circle it real quick. That storm was a bad circle, but we're going to have to wait until this area over Lake Michigan to eventually move inland, but it's going to take a few hours for it to actually get to Flint. So I would say after midnight is when we'll probably start to see some of this rain, but at that point, it's likely going to be sub-severe. Likely won't have too much in the way of any severe weather risk by then. Paula, I'm going to jump over to Harrison here real quick. So we've got Claire here, Harrison jumping up right here. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so Harrison right in this area. So you are under that threat for the hail and the wind. I would say it's probably going to be in about a half an hour that storm makes it up to you. For Lupton, Michigan, you are in the clear as of right now. Brianna checking in about any severe storms for Flint tonight. As of right now, we are in the clear here in Flint for the next several hours. Chances are that any thunderstorm that gets towards Flint later on, which is going to be after midnight, will not be severe. But it's something we're closely watching for sure. Yeah, Paula, you're kind of getting the northern side of this cell, but it will only get worse from here. So as you jump closer and closer to that 9:30, 9:45 time frame, that's when things will probably start to get a little bit worse for you when it comes to the wind and hail. James, for Linwood, you are not going to see anything from this storm. It'll probably be at least a few more hours before you have the opportunity at any of this thunderstorm activity. Tanya, for Houghton Lake, because we are so far removed from these storms right now, it's at least going to be another hour before you get the potential of this. So I'll actually zoom out and put a track on this because it is moving off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So probably up close to Houghton Lake, closer to about 10 o'clock, if it's able to hold together, which is not likely. Samantha, not going to hit Flint. This one is moving away from Flint. And Brianna, there were no tornadoes confirmed in Flint. It was just straight line wind damage in the city of Flint. Once again, we have our severe thunderstorm warning here until 10:15 local time for Claire and Isabella for those large hailstones and also the wind potential. You can see where that hail core is right now. So just moving into the Drew area. If you live towards Weedman, here along North Brinton Road, North Woodruff Road, West Coleman, Brinton, as well as Gilmore, you are in the path of this hail core. So make sure you are getting inside and, if you're able to, get that car in the garage or get it under some shelter, just so this hail core doesn't potentially bring you any damage. As you can see, it's giving us at least quarter-sized hail, but there's the potential of some half-dollar to even ping-pong-sized hail. Put a track on this hail core over the next 15 minutes. Going to be right into the Brinton area by 9:16, Gilmore by 9:18. You can see that there's nothing really else going on. It's just this one storm that we're very closely monitoring. As of right now, not seeing much in the way of rotation, but definitely some strong wind potential. There is the 60-mile-per-hour wind gust threat with our severe thunderstorm warning as well. Bobby Joe, the Clare County severe thunderstorm warning, it is going to be more so in about 20 to 30 minutes for you there in Farwell. So even though you're having some heavier downpour, some thunder and lightning, the worst of the cell, so the wind and the hail is still to your south, moving north towards you. ST and Pinconning, you are in the clear right now. Graham June, Battle Creek, will you get more rain? Not at least currently. There is the potential of some rain in a couple hours, but at that point, I think the severe weather risk will be getting lower and lower. Vicky, Traverse City, I know you guys are under a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm pretty sure there's one to your south. So you can see that this warning is right to the north of Cadillac, just to the south of Traverse City. So this storm is also bringing a wind and hail threat, and it is moving in that northerly direction, which you can see here. So there is the potential that you are put under another severe thunderstorm warning. Sean, for Saginaw. Saginaw is quiet, and these storms are, again, I'll put this over the next hour. You can see that there's the general motion up to the north and the northeast. So Saginaw, Flint, we are in the clear for at least a few hours. Brianna, tornadoes in Mount Morris or Burton? No. So the only tornado that we had confirmed in Genesee County was actually near Atlas. Everyone else, it was straight line wind damage. So here's the overall picture. You can see a lot of thunderstorm activity west and north of our area. we are seeing some of those storms closer to US 127, but the overall track of these storms is going to the north and the northeast. So most of central and southern mid-Michigan, we were actually watching these storms down here to see how far north they were going to get. Didn't happen, so this is our main area of concern over the next few hours. Once we get closer to about midnight, 1 o'clock, as this area is going to continue to sweep through from west to east, it's really going to start to become sub-severe. There may be some gusty winds, some small hail, thunder and lightning, heavy downpours, but as of right now, nothing currently that we are concerned with. Brianna, tornadoes confirmed in Detroit. There was one in Livingston County, but not in Detroit specifically. What I'm going to actually show you guys is a hour by hour of our current weather model. So you can see doing a pretty good job at giving us that idea of these storms closer to US 127 and also US 131. As we step towards 10 o'clock, a lot of this activity heading into our northern communities, that stuff that's offshore of Lake Michigan coming onshore, going towards 11 o'clock, we will start to see more of that activity overspreading towards US 127. Midnight, things will start to clear on out for a lot of us. It's closer to about 1, 2 o'clock that, some of this rain in towards Saginaw and Flint will happen. But at that point, the storms will be weakening. So it's really just the next couple of hours in our far northern spots that we are watching for the potential of this severe weather. Once again, here's that hail core. It is starting to stretch itself out, so maybe getting a little bit larger towards the Weedman area. It is going to continue north. I'm going to put another track on this. Get it up towards Sire by 9:26. In between for Gilmore, it's probably closer to about, I would say, 9:15 for you. As a reminder, the rest of the area is quiet and in the clear. It's just this storm with our severe thunderstorm warnings in through Isabella and also Clare counties. If you live in Isabella, Clare, or Roscommon, you need to be on the lookout for this storm, as it will continue off to the north and east with time. So I'm going to put another track on this and get it up into Roscommon County. If it is able to hold together by that point in time, it'll be near Hayes by 9:42, Denton by 10:10, and Artesia Beach by 10:21, as well as Hatton by 9:30 and Surrey by 9:21. So again, the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 10:15. It has now been upgraded slightly. There is the potential of not only ping pong sized hailstone, but maybe even golf ball sized hail with this storm. So very serious. That's why it has the threat of considerable now. So if you are in the path of this storm, just know hail can do some serious damage, can hurt you if you are outside, as well as those 60-mile-per-hour winds that can do some damage to trees and power lines. But the hail core, that's really our main concern right now, as that is going to bring the potential damage along with it. So we are going to do a track on this one more time. I had it at 50 miles per hour, needed to slow that down just a bit. So over towards Sire 9:18, Hatton 9:27, Hayes 9:39, Frost by 9:45. If you live around any of those communities, just know you have the potential of upwards of golf ball sized hail with this storm. Jonathan, for the Alpena area, you are likely going to potentially have some rain and thunder, but by the time these storms get up to you, they will be weakening. All right, everyone, I am going to get ready for our shows here. So I'm going to wrap this up. If we have any other concerns, we will jump back on here. But I appreciate you joining us for this. Again, if you are here in Isabella and Clare County and potentially going up to Roscommon County by about 10 o'clock, watch out for the storm. Hail, potentially upwards of golf ball sized, is coming along with 60-mile-per-hour winds.